Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to do the pH video, which was the hardest video to do of all of these, the ordinary skincare videos or skincare videos in general. Really difficult. I did learn about pH when I did my health sciences course, and it wasn't about skin though, it was about the pH of the body and pH in general, and you know, there was a lot of maths and formulas and things like that, but I had to remind myself of that and then also learn how it affects the skin. But what I found with this is that there is, as with everything in life, a lot of controversy, a lot of differing opinions, and very little research on the pH of the skin and skincare. And every time I thought I'd got my head around it, I'd either think of something else or I'd talk about it with somebody else and they would bring up another point. So I thought I had it all down, I had all my notes done, and I was discussing it with Kev over dinner and he said, but what about this point? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I've not talked about that and how would that affect things? And then when I was completely finished, I spoke to a pharmacist that I used to work with and asked her what she thought about it all. And she had another point that I hadn't thought of. And although thankfully throughout I was right with my thinking and how pH works, so that's something. Anyway, the disclaimer here is that I'm going to tell you everything that is fact about pH, but I'm also going to tell you the theories there are in how you should use your skincare according to the pH levels, and then what my opinion is, but then also leave it up to you to choose which way you do it. So sometimes when videos are like that, people leave me comments saying that they're more confused than when they started and that they still don't have an answer. There isn't an answer in this, unfortunately. There isn't 100% answer. I mean, people will tell you that there is, but there's people on either side. So, you know, you'll see what I mean when we get to that part. So what is pH? pH is a measure of how alkaline or acid something is. So there's a scale of 0 to 14, with 7 in the middle being neutral, and then 14 is the most alkaline and 0 is the most acid. And so this is a scale used looking at the levels in the skin, the levels in the body, and the levels in products made. The body should be about just a little under 7, so slightly acidic. And you can test this by using your saliva and by testing your urine. And I have always had, I'll show you the ones I use. I've always had pH strips, litmus paper of some kind, for years and years and years, and tested my pH. The first time I started taking an interest was even before I started studying, and it was because of my acne. Actually, I was looking at a pH or an alkaline diet, and I think I've still got the book about that alkaline diet, and it was talking about, you know, not eating meat. That makes you, meat is alkaline but makes your body acidic. Lemon is acidic, but when you eat it, it makes your body alkaline. Anyway, that's where my interest came from, and you can test your own pH using these pH strips, but you can also use these to test your skincare. The only thing you can't do with them is test your own skin. There's not really any way of using these to test what pH your skin is, but you should be able to tell the pH of your skin from how it acts. So the skin should be at a pH of about 5.5, which, if you remember that 7 is neutral and it goes down to 0 being the most acidic, 5.5 is slightly acidic also. So people's skin will vary from 4.5 to 5.5, maybe even more towards 6, depending on their skin condition, but should be about 5.5. If you disrupt that pH balance of 5.5 and it goes too far towards the alkaline end or too far towards the acidic end, that you will damage a protective layer on your skin, and that will cause you problems such as oily skin, dry skin, acne, eczema, etc. And that's because there is the outermost part of your skin, the outermost layer, sometimes called the lipid layer, is also known as the acid mantle, and it is a protective layer that keeps bad things out basically and good things in. It keeps moisture in and bad bacteria out. And if the pH isn't right, it can cause damage to that protective layer, and that's when you start to get problems. The thinking is, if your skin is dry, then your skin is thought to be too alkaline, or is probably too alkaline. If your skin is oily, it's probably too acidic. And if you have problems such as eczema and psoriasis, it is probably very acidic, and so way away from that balance of 5.5. And you could have any number of skin problems just by not having it at that ideal slightly acidic level. But I also believe that there is a contribution of your body, of course. When I was trying to get rid of my acne, I was looking at my diet and trying to, I mean, I was vegetarian actually, so I wasn't eating meat, but I was probably doing more on my skin end that I shouldn't have been doing, and I didn't even consider that at the time. Bearing in mind I'm now 44 and I started having acne when I was about 20, 21, and I've only got rid of it in the last couple of years. So I focused on just the body, but I think you should focus on both. Look at the pH of your body, what you're eating, make sure you're eating enough. You know, if you're just eating meat, fizzy drinks, these things will cause your body to be acidic. And this is why they recommend having a glass of water with lemon juice in the morning, because it starts off putting your body into that slightly acidic state that is good for it. Okay, so we know that causing any disruption from this 5.5 is not a good thing. How does that happen? It happens by using two harsh cleansers is one of the ways, by using things like soap or foaming cleansers, because when you look at their acid alkaline balance, they are high on the alkaline scale, so they are probably 8 or 9, something like that. And that is not good for your slightly acidic skin. That will raise the pH to an alkaline level, and that's not what you want. Conversely, if you've got oily skin, then you could have overly used acids, the acid mantle that way. But the important thing is to look at the products you're using on your skin and see if how they will affect your pH. And I think that's the biggest question we all have. When everybody's talking about pH, I think you're watching thinking, how does the pH of a product affect the pH of your skin, and how do the two together work? And I actually had some questions, some really good questions in email from a viewer, so I've written down those questions and I'm going to answer those questions, and I asked for any more questions on Facebook as well. So I'll answer those questions, but the way that it reacts with skin is it will raise or lower your pH, and you know, you would need to use equations to work out exactly what the resulting pH would be from using a specific pH, but it's fairly simple. If you use something that is alkaline, such as a soap or a harsh cleanser, it will make your skin more alkaline, and that's not what you want. If you use something such as salicylic acid or any acids, they will lower your pH, and that's okay because it's more towards the acidic side of the scale when you want your skin to be acidic, but also it depends on how much you use. If you overuse them, then it's a problem. It's like with anything, moderation is the key. So the pH of your skincare really does matter, but whatever you put on your skin, if you then just put nothing else, if you put one product, so you use, say, a harsh cleanser, a bar of soap, you wash your face with a bar of soap and you then just leave it, it will go back to its natural pH level of around about 5.5 or 5, somewhere between 5 and 6. There's different opinions even on that. But it will go back to its natural pH. How long it takes is where there is, again, huge controversy. Some people say 20 minutes, some people say 1 hour, and other people say 6 to 8 hours. So I can't find any evidence for any of those. I personally wouldn't think it would take as long as 6 to 8 hours, just the way that our body works. I would think it would be more like either the 20 minutes or an hour, and I'm not sure which, but it will return to its normal pH state. And the same if you use acids on your skin, it will lower the pH, but then if you put nothing else on, it will come back up to its natural pH state. The problem is what's happening whilst that return to normal is going on. So for example, with an alkaline product, the damage has been caused by your skin being too alkaline, and continues to damage the skin until it gets back to its normal pH. However, where it's coming from a low acidic point, if you've put acids on it and getting back up to 5.5, it's doing good because your skin likes to be more acidic. That was the very basics of pH. Let's look at the questions that were asked. I've got 2 questions here. I've kind of condensed them. The first one is, should dry and oily skin be using different pH level products? And the answer is no. Whether you have dry skin or oily skin, the goal is always to keep your skin at a slightly acidic 5.5, and so I think we should all be trying to use less alkaline products, so anything under 7. Some people even choose to use nothing over 6, but that would include water, because water is a pH of 7, pure water. You will find in, I think, hard areas that the water may be more than 7, hard water areas, but I actually went for a long time without using any water. It's only been in the last probably 4 years, not even, maybe 3 years, that I've used water on my face. Prior to that, I hadn't used water since being a teenager. As a teenager, I was allergic to so many things, and I remember my stepmom, bless her, trying to find so many different things that I could use to wash my face, to clean my face, and we couldn't find anything. We tried baby soap, vegetarian soap. There wasn't much out at that time. And I stopped using water, and I just used, I mean, it wasn't good. It was an alcohol-based cleanser, which could well have caused my oily skin or contributed to my oily skin in my 20s and my acne. But I just used that on a cotton pad and used creamy cleansers and oily cleansers to take my makeup off, and then a toner afterwards, and never used water until, like I said, a few years ago. So water has a pH, pure water has a pH of 7. And so, no. Dry and oily skin should use the same products. We should all be using products that are pH balanced where possible. So I would say with either skin type, avoid foaming cleansers. Try and look for ones that say that they are pH balanced. If you've got dry skin, try to use a more gentle cleanser, and perhaps consider using something with a little bit of acid in it, so you can get glycolic cleansers. I've got one in my bathroom, which is a Mario Badescu glycolic face wash or something like that. And if you've got oily skin, don't overuse your acids. That would be my advice from that point of view. The next question is, when using acids at 3.5, it says here, should you follow with a moisturiser at 7.0? And the answer is no. You shouldn't need to neutralise acids, because the acids need to work on your skin, and they are lowering the pH for a reason. And then we'll get into if you should wait after them, and why people think you should wait, why people think you shouldn't. But certainly don't follow with a moisturiser that is 7, because you're then bringing it back up to 7. If it's under 7, then that's where it's questionable. I think if you use a serum at 6.0, there are arguments for and against using that, which I will go into now. I did talk about this a little bit as well in my video of combining vitamin C with retinol, acids with retinol, that kind of thing. And I pretty much still agree with what I said in that. Well, not pretty much, I do agree with what I said in that I'll tell you at the end, but my overall thought is that they will work better. You will get more from your products in certain situations. Using them in certain ways is what I meant, not in certain situations. Okay, so I've got 2.5 pages of the theories that are out there, and I'm going to tell you the 2 sides of what people think you should do. The theories about how to apply our skincare and in what order, and should we wait and should we not wait, should we use a pH adjusting toner, etc., are all about pH dependent products, and thankfully for us there aren't too many, because if every single product you use was pH dependent, it could take you a day to do your skincare. The ones that are known to be pH dependent are the acids. So vitamin C acid is pH dependent. It needs to be formulated at a pH of 3.5, there or thereabouts, sometimes lower, and it needs your skin to be about that pH level for it to start working. The same with acids. They could be 3, they could be 4, and they need to be formulated at that level, and your skin needs to be at that level for them to start working. There is a question mark over whether retinol is a pH dependent product or whether or not it will work okay with acids, and this really is quite a big debate on that. But from the way I understand it, retinol will not be converted to retinoic acid as it needs to be, or as efficiently, if it is not at a higher pH, around about 5.5, so around about the neutral skin level. But anyway, what I'm talking about here are the 2 ways that people think you should use these pH dependent products. I will mostly talk about vitamin C and acids, because retinol is more in with the rest of your products in that it is to be applied at a normal pH, if you like. So we'll talk about vitamin C and acid. You started off with cleansing, and I think most people use water on their face, don't they? And you're mixing that with a cleanser, even if that's a low pH cleanser. So say a pH balance 5.5 cleanser mixed with water, and then you rinse your face with water. Bearing in mind that water is at least 7, sometimes higher, then your skin will be too alkaline after you have cleansed. And so there are 2 different schools of thought as to what you should do if you then want to go on to use acids, a lactic acid, salicylic acid, a vitamin C, etc. The one school of thought is that you should immediately use a pH adjusting toner. What that will do is to bring you from, say you were at 8, it will bring you down to about 4, something like that, immediately. And it does that by being, it's a solution that will do that for you. It may or may not have a buffer in it, but you're using something that's going to bring your skin back down to a level that the acids need to work. So remember I said vitamin C, a lactic acid, a salicylic acid needs to be at about 3 or 4 to work, the actual product. It also needs your skin to be at 3 or 4. The pH adjusting toner brings it down to 4. You're ready for your acids immediately, so you put them on. The other school of thought is that by bringing your pH level down with this pH adjusting toner, you are definitely making an environment where the acids will work better. But people believe that these skincare acids have been formulated to go on a skin pH of 5.5 or above, because it's only been in the last year or 2 years, few years, that people have become so interested in skincare and so interested in what's in them and the ingredients and how to use them. And so the feeling is that products are formulated to go on high after cleansing where the skin is already alkaline. So my thoughts on this are, I don't personally think that companies have formulated these products towards skin at any pH level. I think it just is what it is. These products are formulated at the correct level, but I don't think they've tried to guess what the pH of the skin of the person using it will be. I just don't believe that to be the case. I think that they are just whatever they are, be it 3, 4 or whatever. There's a middle step not talked about here, whereby if you think when you've cleansed your face, and like I said, that it is then at a 7 or 8, if you then wait a certain amount of time, it will return, your skin will return to a 5.5. It will always return to its neutral pH. It's natural pH, not neutral, natural pH. Remember I said at the beginning, that time is debatable. There is some people believe that it is 6, 7, 8 hours, other people an hour, other people 20 minutes. I would, like I said, think it's more like 20 minutes to an hour. So one of the first things you can do if you feel your acids aren't working well for you is, after cleansing your face, is wait 20 minutes or half an hour, as long as you can bear, before putting the acids on your face. And if you think about it, that then means that what you have done, you've washed your face, it's at an 8, you wait for it to come down to a 5.5, then the acid you put on takes it down to, say, a 3.5. It doesn't have to waste product and time going from an 8 to a 3.5. It's going from a 5.5 to a 3.5, so there's not quite as big a jump to go. So on the question of a pH adjusting toner, I do think that if you used a pH adjusting toner, your products such as acids and vitamin C's will be more effective. If it's going to take your skin from an 8 down to, say, a 4, and then you're putting products on around about that range, they will be able to just get straight to work, rather than trying to get your skin down and do all the work necessary to get the pH down. There will be more, it will just get straight to work, basically. There's no delay. However, I think it depends on your skin as to whether you want that to happen. And I can use myself as an example in this, because over the last week or 2, I have been testing this out with acids. And as it happens, I've actually now ended up with very dry skin around here. I've done a video on an emergency dry skin situation, because that's what I had, dry flaky skin. And that was because I was pH adjusting. I will talk to you in a moment exactly how to pH adjust, but just think about first whether or not you even want to. So you are preparing your skin so that, like I said, when you put on your acid, vitamin C, whatever it is, pH dependent products, it will mostly be lactic acid, glycolic acid, salicylic acid, these type of acids, and vitamin C. It will be ready to go and it will start working, but it means that it's more powerful. And for me, that has proven to be the case. So definitely when I pH adjust, they're working better, they're much stronger. But that has resulted in dry skin for me. So for me, it wasn't a good thing. The only caveat there is it could be a culmination of me using acids over these 2 weeks that caused the dry skin. It may not be just the pH adjusting, but I do feel like it works better when I pH adjusted. And from everything I've read, and I have read, like I said, I've been in contact with my friend that's a pharmacist. I sent an email to a guy that I worked with that was a biochemist. I have read blogs from scientists. I've read blogs from beauticians and people that have just experienced it. I've looked at every side of the coin, if you like, and people have experienced that their acids work better for them when using a pH adjusting toner, or when pH adjusting before using their acids. But for some people that's been a good thing, for other people it's not. Other people have said the same as me. My skin became too sensitive, it was too irritating. So it's down to whether or not you think your skin can cope with it. I think my skin would have coped with it more when I was oilier and had more acne, because I'm now on medication that balances that out, as you guys know. And so my skin is more now normal to slightly oily. And so I think I've just knocked the balance out by going overboard. And I don't think in future I won't pH adjust to use my acids, because I don't think my skin needs it. I hope that makes sense. Basically, if you want to get a 100% efficacy from your acids and vitamin C, then pH adjust before. But if you're worried about sensitive skin and you want a milder effect, don't pH adjust. So on to how to pH adjust before I go on to the next theory, is what to do after you've applied your acids. So how do you pH adjust? You can buy pH adjusting toners that are specifically made, and I think they're made with buffers so that there isn't a huge difference in pH. And you can buy ones specifically to adjust your skin. What I did is I would cleanse my face in whatever way, either washing or using my oily makeup remover. I then use my micellar water, which is about a pH of 5.5, to take off all of any residue. And I would then use this, which is the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid, which this is a pH of 3. So this was definitely bringing my skin down to the level that was required for my vitamin C and acids. In fact, some would say perhaps I was bringing it down too much, which is where if you buy a specific pH adjusting toner, it is buffered to bring it down without affecting the pH too much. But you can use something like this, but this does feel like it leaves a slight residue, and the idea is to not leave any residue on your skin. The other way that you can do it, and I think this is a good way to try and see how your skin reacts to pH adjusting, is you can use the same product twice. So for example, if I was using, I'm going to hold this up, but this is actually the AHA 30% and BHA 2%. This is a mask. You wouldn't use this on your skin and leave it on. But I've got the 2%, is it 2% salicylic acid? Yes. So you could put the tiniest bit on over your face and then just leave it for a couple of minutes, and then you could put another layer on. That means that the first layer is doing the work to bring your skin back to the right pH level that it needs, and then the second layer is doing the work that you want it to. So I just think that not many people will want or need to do any of this either waiting after cleansing your skin, because my skin is normal to oily and it gets tight if I leave it for that long and feels uncomfortable. And also you want to do your routine in one go, don't you? You don't want to have to put a timer on for 20 minutes, etc. But also using a pH adjusting toner, I just don't think many people's skin will be tough enough to deal with that. But if you are really dealing with a lot of acne and breakouts, it is something you can consider. But just really maybe even diary your skin and what you used and how it reacted, because you don't want to make it overly acidic. These are really inexpensive, by the way. I bought these on Amazon. I think I used to have some. Obviously when I worked in the hospital I had access to them, but I might buy a pH meter. I would like to buy a pH meter, which is a digital meter, which is a lot more accurate. But anybody can get hold of these. I will link them for you. Okay, so the next stage is that we have either waited for an amount of time, or we've pH adjusted, or we've done none of those and put our acids on. Do you then need to wait before you put anything else on? And if so, how long do you need to wait? There are two theories. One of them is what I've read on an absolutely amazing blog called Snow White and the Asian Pear. She's really, really thorough in all of these things, and I think she's got a wonderful blog. And her suggestion is that you wait 20 minutes between each acid. So let's say you want to put vitamin C, BHA and AHA, which would actually be too many acids in one night, but let's just say that that's the case. You remember when I talked about mixing vitamin C and acids, I said, actually, I think that would be too irritating for your skin anyway. But she was saying you could do it by cleansing, pH adjusting, and then putting on your vitamin C. That's the first one you would use. Then waiting 20 minutes and applying a BHA. Then waiting another 20 minutes and applying an AHA. And then waiting another 20 minutes and applying the rest of your routine. There are two reasons for this thinking. One is to allow the acids to do their work. So the 20-minute window is to allow the acids to do everything they need to do whilst your skin is starting off at that lower pH and giving it the 20 minutes to use its power. The other thinking is the product that you put on top of it. So if you are putting a serum on top of acids immediately, then the thinking is that perhaps the serum won't work as well and the acids won't have had time to do their work, so that it's the lose-lose situation. In particular, there is concern about retinol, which is believed to be a pH dependent product, and that if you put that on over an acid, both of them are ineffective essentially and won't work. As I said back in my video about mixing products, I don't believe that neither of them would work, but I think that they are less likely to work at their maximum capacity and be as effective as you'd want them to be. The acids though, say you're putting on a vitamin C at a pH of 2.5 and you then put on a BHA at a pH of 3.0, I don't believe there's any issue pH wise with putting those two on together, because 2.5 pH trumps over a 3.0 pH and will not affect it. It will overpower it, if you like, because it is a stronger acid. Until you get to the alkaline, there will be no effect, because the strongest acids are at the lower end of the scale, so the stronger acid will work. Where it may affect things is the BHA that you're putting on at 3.0 or anything above 2.5 may be ineffective. So for me, if you were applying a retinol or a retinoid after an acid, a vitamin C acid, a lactic acid, etc., I would not be concerned with the acids not working, because they are more acidic and they are therefore first in the queue and, like I said, overpowering. I would be more concerned with the retinol and retinoid not working to its maximum efficiency. So this is where I would say if you want to use your retinol or retinoid, I have done a video, by the way, on retinols and retinoids and the differences. It's a very old video, but I did it all the same. Sorry, I know I'm just going off on a tangent, but somebody had left a comment saying that I didn't explain the difference between retinol and retinoids in my one about the ordinary 2% retinoid. I thought I had referred to that video, but I'll try and link it in this one just in case. If you really do want to use your retinol and vitamin C or acids on the same night, and that could be because you don't want to use either in the morning, because you really want to use them every day, then I would recommend waiting after your vitamin C and acids 20 minutes at least, but as long as you can before putting on your retinol, because like I said, there is talk about it, the retinol being a pH dependent product that won't convert to the retinoic acid that you want it to without the correct pH, so it's better to wait. But much better if you can use them on separate nights. And the final question, of course, is if you're using vitamin C and acids, do you still need to wait the 20 minutes before applying your serums and oils and moisturizers? The recommendation from a lot of the really serious websites, the serious skincare websites such as this Snow White and the Asian Pear, is that you do wait the 20 minutes for the reason in that it will take that long for the acids to do their thing. I would say, like I said already, I don't think that that's necessary. I think that the acids will work because they are the strongest acid you will be using, the strongest pH on the acid scale that you will be using, assuming you're using nothing above 7. But there may be products that you are using in your oils and moisturizers and serums that are pH dependent and that we don't know. So I suppose it would be best practice, if you can and if your skin doesn't feel uncomfortable and if time allows you, to wait 20 minutes to half an hour before putting anything else on your skin after using your vitamin C and actives. Sorry, vitamin C and acids, not actives. And I will do that when time allows me and when I'm in the mood, but it won't be my primary concern. I won't be using retinol or retinoid on the same evening as those. I would use it on a separate evening. But it's like I said, there is no proof as to how long your skin takes to return to its normal pH. So we could find out that 20 minutes to half an hour did need to be 6 hours. But I think that it's something easy that you can do, or some of us can do, to potentially help the efficacy of our products. Oh my goodness. You know, I said I was worried about the vitamin C one not making sense. I'm more worried about this one not making sense, because I think there'll be some comments of people that don't understand or are more confused, but it really is that complex that there isn't a simple way of explaining it, because it isn't simple. So let me give you my summary here, and it's basically the rules that you can follow to balance your skin, no matter what your skin type is. The first is don't use any foaming cleansers. Where this comes from is it's normally got sodium lauryl sulfate in it, and sodium lauryl sulfate is a pH of about 10, and so you can see how alkaline that is, and that means very bad for your skin. So try to go for a pH balanced cleanser if you can, and no foaming cleansers. pH test your skincare if you can. These, like I said, don't cost very much. It will be less than £10 with postage for this whole packet of pH sticks. It's not, you don't need to have any kind of qualifications to read it. It just, you put some of the product on one of these strips and it changes colour, and you match it against the chart and it tells you. And you can use these for skincare, you can use it for your urine, you can use it for your saliva. Less water is better. Obviously, if you are somebody that's happy to just give up putting water on your face, that's much better for your face. And I'm going back to trying to do that now. I will use all of the washes that I've got. I have pH tested them so that none of them are too high, and so I'm happy to continue using them. But after that, I think I'll go back to just using creamy cleansers and oily cleansers as I did before. If you're using acids and vitamin C, alternate with your retinol and retinoids, so alternate nights. I've put wait 20 minutes after your acids and vitamin C's if you can, and use retinol on skin that's pH neutral if possible. So if you're using your retinol immediately after cleansing and you're cleansing with water, try and wait 20 minutes if you can, so that it's going on a more neutral pH skin. And the final thing I've put is research is irrelevant, and I actually just read that and thought, research is irrelevant? That's not something I'd say, because research to me is everything. But I'm going to link 3 things for you. I'm going to link the Snow White and Asian Pear blog, which is all about the order of skincare and is brilliant. I'm going to link the Triple Helixian, which is another blog and a scientist talking about pH, and he is talking about Paula Beguan, I think is how you say her name, from Paula's Choice, her article on why you should use, she believes you should use your AHAs and BHAs with your retinol, and that improves the efficacy. I don't agree with that, and there's a video by Paula's Choice actually, I think it's Nathan that does the video, that says there is research proving that they work better together. But the research that Paula linked to, I've had a look at that research and it doesn't make any sense, because it's not researching that, it's researching, it researches using glycolic acid and something else in, say, acne. I don't think it was acne, but something else, and whether or not it's efficient. It's not looking at pHs of acid and retinol, and it's just not relevant research. So that's what I meant by research is irrelevant. The research that Paula is talking about isn't relevant to the point she's making. And this Triple Helixian has written and answered every point she's made. His response makes sense to me. So I will link her article, his article, and the Snow White and Asian Pear. And they're all pretty different. So that's just if you want to get into it more and have a look at some of the places that I was looking at to see what all the differing opinions were. I hope, if nothing else, that's given you some food for thought, and made you think about how you're going to perhaps change your routine. I will be doing a review on the acids from, I was going to say Paula's Choice there, on the acids from The Ordinary, because I think I have all of them, and I have tried all of them and have feelings about all of them, and I may, in fact, I will go over the pH in that, because then it will be in context about acids. But yeah, I hope this has been useful. I'll tell you what I've got on makeup wise, and then I will let you go finally. So I've got on today my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. Remember I said I'd ordered a new bottle from Sephora. This one is in Fair Neutral, and I've missed a spot I can see. So this is the first time I'm using Fair Neutral. There's nothing wrong with the lighting. This is how pale I am when I don't have a self tanner on. I did, as I said, break and put a self tanner on the following day. Do you remember I showed you in the last video and I said, oh, it doesn't seem to be going patchy? That was the morning after. Later that day I was just doing this and that was it. It was all coming off, and I thought, oh goodness me, it's amazing how long the effect of acids and retinol and whatnot last on your skin. So I haven't put any self tan on since, and so I'm pale. I have actually got one that's in porcelain, and I think that's going to be too pale, so I might end up putting that on my blog sale. Anyway, so that's what I've got on my face. I've got on my eyes, I've got on the Too Faced Natural Love palette. I use the colour called Love Bug. On my cheeks I've got an Inglot blush, an Inglot pink blush that I can't remember the name of, number of. On my lips I've got the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Requiem, and then I used my favourite lip gloss, which is the Rimmel On My Gloss in Pear Glossy Cat on top. This little thing here I ordered from Amazon, really nice set of 8 chokers, but I think I'm allergic to it because it's making me itch and I'm going a little bit red underneath it. And again, that may be to do with the acids just making my skin more irritable, but I do feel like I want to scratch, so I shall probably take it off after this video. As I was getting ready this morning, I was trying to think, what will I say that I'm proud of? What is an achievement for me? And I knew it would get more and more difficult. For those of you that are new, this is a new tradition of mine to say what we are. I'm trying to tell you what I'm proud of achieving, and I want you guys to tell me in the comments what you are proud of achieving in your life. It can be from something very, very small to something very, very big. And I knew that it would get difficult, and I am literally going, what am I proud of? The only thing that came to mind today was I'm proud of getting up this morning, because I'm in a lot of pain with various joints and back, foot, knee, everything is hurting at the moment. And because I'm working from home, if you like, for YouTube and photography and whatnot, it would be very easy to stay in bed because I'm exhausted. I have no painkillers in my system when I wake up, and I drag myself out of bed because my husband is up and I feel like I should be up, and so I get up at 6:30 every morning. And so I thought, you know what, that is actually an achievement, because it would be very easy to just lay in bed. And so that's the thing I feel like I'm achieving at the moment. Let me know what you are proud of achieving, and I will speak to you again soon.